I've just finished listening to the audiobook of The Fringe Dwellers by Nene Gare, as narrated by Shareena Clanton, and it is a brilliant book, a brilliant audiobook as well. I came across the book through the Omnivorous Readers BookTube channel, and her recommendation of it inspired me to go and get it. And I've listened to it continuously since then, and I would thoroughly recommend it to you. It's the story of a native Australian family, a family of Aboriginal people, and their trials and tribulations over the period of, I don't know, perhaps a year or two. The family consists of the parents, a 17-year-old daughter, Nuna, a 15-year-old daughter, Trilby, and two younger children, a boy whose name escapes me right at the moment, and then I think a 4-year-old, even younger daughter, Stella. The book opens in a mission where Nuna, Trilby, the son, and Stella are, with the two older girls just about to head back to their parents' house or humpy on an informal settlement on an informal settlement outside of some town somewhere in Australia. And the narrative focuses principally on Trilby, although all of the other characters variously take on the third person viewpoint at various points during the novel. But the core of the action and the main plot really focuses on Trilby, this 15-year-old girl, and she is brilliantly realized by Nene Gare. She is a complicated and in some ways difficult character, and I won't be giving anything away to say that she is in some way the most tragic of all the characters in the book. There's a wonderful contrast between Trilby, the 15-year-old daughter, and Nuna, who's I think the 17-year-old daughter. Nuna is loving, caring, she loves children. Trilby is precisely the opposite. She's very self-conscious, she's very proud, and in some ways she's quite cold and calculating. And it's also clear she's also a very beautiful young woman. She's of mixed race. I think I can't remember the precise way in which she's mixed. There's mention of the grandparents being white, one of the grandparents being white, and Trilby has these distinctive grey eyes. Of course, everybody else, all of the other native Australians, have brown eyes, but Trilby has these grey eyes, and they give her this distinct look, and they also contribute to her distinct personality, her very proud, self-conscious personality. There is a little bit of controversy about the book. It was written in 1961, I should say, because Nene Gare is a white woman, and on reading comments about the book before starting on this review, there were questions about whether she was acting as a ventriloquist for Aboriginal culture or appropriating that culture. And I would say, before I'd seen those comments, and I was aware of that issue from the Omnivorous Readers review, which she deals with in a very even-handed way, I think. Having read the book, I would say I have absolutely no concern with that at all, because this book is written with such love and care and insight that I have no doubt in my mind that Nene Gare's motivation was to portray the fate of native Australians to a much broader audience. That was her goal in this book, and she does it in spades. It's a brilliant book, and it's done in a very subtle and very, you feel, authentic way. Now, so the question is, how do I know? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know that everything she says is true or not. I get the impression from the veracity of the way the characters react that it is. And then also reading the comments, as I say, before I made this review, revealed to me that Nene Gare lived in the company of native Australians for 10 years and had apparently, many friends from that culture. And also her husband was involved in dealing with native populations in Australia. So she clearly had a very intimate knowledge of native Australian Aboriginal culture. And from what very little I know, which is based on a few movies and, stuff that you read sporadically in the news or that kind of stuff, it felt really authentic. But what was even more authentic was the way the characters behave. The mother and the father, the two older daughters, the boy, and Stella doesn't really feature very much. A little bit she does. All of them are portrayed in such a way that absolutely believe them. And as I say, Trilby is the main character. She's the strongest character, and she is struggling with who she is, which is, a marginalized population. And yet she's very proud and she's very conscious and she's very aware of the discrimination she suffers, but she's only 15. And so she can't articulate that anger she feels inside, and it drives her to behave the way that she does behave in the novel. And the novel, I would say, it is as well as a celebration of family, it is a tragedy as well. And I think if you've got any interest in the way that a family works or marginalized populations, I think anywhere, I think you could say that the Comeaways, the family, are representative of many, many, many different marginalized cultures around the world. You pick a country, pick your skin color, and then you'll find marginalized groups. And I think this book gets inside that, but then conveys it in a very subtle and a very gentle. You're not whacked over the head with it at all. You just see it through the characters. But you also see their pride, and you see the love for each other, and the way they struggle and deal with this discrimination. And again, very subtle. It's not, there's you never, as I say, clonked over the head with it. It's just in the way that they deal with certain events that happen in the novel. And I think it's a work of art. It's a really important novel. It's one of those novels I would say, if you're interested in literature, the human condition, it's right up there. I didn't even know it existed, never heard about it. Not even the movie, nothing about it at all. And I feel I was suitably ignorant and chastened that I didn't. And so, I feel it's important for me to encourage you to go and read it and think about, and for you to think about, you know, the novel and what happens in it and that population of people and how it represents, as I say, other marginalized groups. It's a brilliant novel, and I should say thank you to the omnivorous reader for pointing it out to me and letting me share that experience.